It is quite often the case that the best travel days are the unplanned travel days, and without a doubt this is going to be one of those. The only goal I've got is that I need to be in Aalborg tonight by 10 p.m. to return the rental car and catch a flight out of here. I am starting in the small town of Hurup, which is close to Tooth National Park, and the journey to Aalborg is about 130 kilometers from where I currently am. I have no idea what we're going to find along the way, but we are going to start things off with a very unique ferry ride, and I'll tell you more when we get on board. Wow! Have a bar. Yeah. That's amazing, I did not expect that. They are sailors' drinks in there, 4.5% alcohol, 5.8% alcohol. This is one of the last wooden ferries built in Denmark. It was built in 1964. Before then, a rowing vessel came across to the island of Morsø. You were saying it's called Morsø?
Morsø, M-O-R-S.
M-O-R-S, Morsø. Yeah. And that's the name of the island that we're heading to.
But there is two places where you can get a ferry. In the north part of Morsø there is a ferry too, and there is also two bridges from Morsø to the...
So I'll be able to get off the other side?
Yeah. What?
Will I be able to get off a bridge the other side? Or?
Yeah, there is on the other side of Morsø there is a bridge. I think you can take this to Aalborg, but you can also go to the north part of Morsø called Ferry. And there is a ferry too, a little bit bigger ferry.
Oh, I see.
And then you are closer to Aalborg.
I see. Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
This is actually a privately run ferry, and it travels across about every 20 minutes from 6 in the morning till 10 at night during the summer. So you can pretty much always get a ferry across to the island. And we now know that I can either choose to get a ferry across the other side, or I can just travel off on a bridge. We'll see what I'm going to do. As I said, completely unplanned. Let me just show you the scene at the moment. There's the ferry behind me. It is remarkable to be on an old wooden ferry. It truly is. And the scenery this morning out here is magnificent. Right, I think I better get back in the car and get ready to drive off. I don't want to delay anybody, even though there's only two of us on this ferry at the moment. What an incredible place. Nice ferry. Yeah. Nice ferry, yeah. We're nearly there. Old, yeah.
Yeah.
1964?
60, yeah.
Oh, wow. And with that, the ferry boat is off again, chugging back across the water to make another trip. The cost of one person and one car is 90 Danish kroner, so that is about £10 sterling, about 12 or 13 euros. Definitely a bargain to be able to get onto the ferry and take a ride on it across the water. Anyhow, we are now on moors. We've got a couple of really pretty buildings ahead of me. There's a lovely swimming area to my right with a small pier, a floating platform that you can swim out to, and some fishing boats out in the bay. Very pretty indeed. We've also got the carved warriors of Morsø. So with that, I think we're going to get back in the car now and see what we can find on this island. So from the side of a road, I saw a sign advertising a tractor museum, so I thought I would stop by. This turned out to be a fascinating stop, and the lady running the museum told me about its history and showed me around the tractors on display. The museum opened on the 23rd of October 1980, making it the oldest tractor museum in Denmark. There are around 150 different tractors to look at, ranging from 1917 up until 1960. Now, I ended up filming so much that I have put my visit in a separate video, which you can watch by either clicking the link at the top of the screen or by taking a look at my North Jutland road trip playlist, which is linked in the description below. Right, let's get back on the road. Well, we're on another mini adventure. I've stopped at a place called Hanklit, which is a 60-metre high molar clay cliff. And I've got to admit, I thought I was going to be driving to the top, but instead the car park where I've parked the car is at sea level, and I've joined a trail to hike it up all the way to the top. There's an info board at the bottom, and I also passed a couple of cows as I was walking on the pathway. From what the sign says, the north and northeast of Morsø Island is renowned for its hills and coastal cliffs. Most of them were formed about 20,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age, but this particular one that I'm standing right on the top of now was formed about 56 million years ago. I'll tell you what, the views from up here are magnificent. If I turn this way inland, you can see some combine harvesters and tractors working the fields and rolling plains of Denmark. Does it get any better than that? Look at that, it's amazing. And if we head out in that direction, you can see down there is the car park where I parked the car. Pretty much all the car parks I've used in Denmark, to be fair, have been free. There have been a few exceptions, but not many. And then down there, check that out. You can see how fragile this cliff edge is. Just there, look, it is pretty much just clay and sand. And it has already been falling down into the water there. But look how clear that water actually is. Can you believe that Hanklit was once 66 meters high? That was until 1920, when a private company started digging away at the clay at the top here, reducing its height by 6 meters until there was enough local outrage to stop them in their tracks. The Association for the Preservation of Hanklit was created, and by 1933 they had enough money to purchase this piece of land. At that point, they laid down a road and put a parking area in, built a bridge over the stream, and raised a flagpole where once upon a time someone used to turn up every day to raise the Danish flag. about to record a bit of information on the car, and a tractor has turned up from nowhere. There are fields all around, but I didn't see a tractor when I stopped, but it has turned up, and it looks like he's coming this way actually, so I better get out of his way. There he goes. I thought for a second he might have been coming off the field there and then heading up in that direction. So I signalled to him, but he was like, no, I'm turning around. So all good. I did not want the car to be squashed by a tractor at the final hurdle. So anyhow, I have stopped on the incredible road trip. I'm enjoying it very much today. Lots of cool stuff, interesting places. The roads are also just magnificent. They're lovely to drive, and I'm definitely glad that I made it over to this island. There is a tractor working behind me, so excuse the noise, but I wanted to tell you about car rental here. So I've hired, when I got to Aalborg Airport, I hired a small car off of Avis Rental. Well, it was pre-arranged. I did it for £146. That's about 170, 180 euros. And that is for 6 days rental, but it doesn't cover the excess on the insurance. So if I do have an accident or it gets stolen, I have to pay an excess. It's about 5,000 euros or something crazy like that, but I have my own excess insurance. The car is a Hyundai i10. I've got to say it is fitted out with just about every gizmo you could imagine. It is kitted out with Apple CarPlay, which I really like. It has lane guidance, so the steering wheel kind of, it drives itself almost. You just have to kind of just make sure that it's not doing anything silly. The fuel economy has been great. I think I'm going to get out the way in case these little tractors do want to come up this lane. But I haven't made a huge amount of progress, and it's about 5 p.m. We're going to hit the road again now, get out these guys' way, and proceed towards Aalborg. Well, my friends, it just wouldn't be right to come all the way to Denmark and not mention the Vikings at least once. I have arrived possibly at my final destination, although I've still got to get to the airport. This is an old Iron and Viking Age burial ground. It's at the Lindholm Viking Museum on the outskirts of Aalborg. And this is where for more than 600 years, up until around about the year 1000 CE, about 700 people were cremated on site, and the graves marked by stone circles. And you can see that lots of those stone circles have been preserved on the hill behind me, thanks to the museum and the work that it does. Unfortunately, the museum itself is closed on Mondays, and today is a Monday, so I can't go inside and show you around. It would have been a fascinating experience because the people who are buried in this graveyard, well, their stories are told inside the museum itself. And just in case you don't know, the Vikings were an advanced society who lived here in Scandinavia, which is modern-day Denmark, Norway and Sweden, between something like the late 8th and 11th centuries. The Vikings are probably best known for their seafaring raids on other European countries, including England. But that is definitely another story. And for the last time in this video and the last time on this trip, let's get back in the car. Well, I'm back at the airport in a dark parking lot, so I'll try not to look any more dodgy than I probably do holding a camera underneath the light. There's the car in the background. I am about to head into the terminal, catch my flight back to the UK, but before I do, let me give you a few stats. What an incredible road trip, what a place North Jutland is. I would definitely recommend it if you're thinking of coming. In total, I have driven 450 miles, that is 730 kilometers, and I've used 30 liters of fuel, which cost me 413 Danish kroner, that is about 45 pounds sterling or 55 euros. And with that, I will call it a day. Thanks very much for watching. Hopefully, I'll catch you in the next country sometime soon. Good night.